Hi everyone. I made lunch today. I put it in this little party platter to make it easier rather than piling it all up on a plate. So I made Korroke, which is Japanese croquettes. That is what is in these three here. Then I made, I forget what it is called, Tonkatsu. There we go. Which is actually just fried pork chop. It's really good. I love it so much. I've been cooking it all day. Well, not all day. It took me an hour or so to get it all breaded and cook it all. And I'm so hungry now from smelling it. I sat and ate one already. This is the empty spot. And then I just mixed up a little sauce. It's basically a hot honey mustard sauce. I just put hot sauce, honey, and some regular yellow mustard in there so that I can dip my food in it. Let's see if I can get one of these apart and show it to you. This is the potato patty. And what I did was I cooked it's about 6 russet potatoes. And then I mashed them. And I added sauteed onions. You can add meat to them, to the potatoes. It's recommended to use 8, but I just wanted to make a smaller batch. If you want, when you saute the onions, you can saute some sort of ground meat. Or like really kind of whatever you want that will work in here. Like ground beef, ground chicken, turkey. You could probably put ham or sausage, maybe even diced up shrimp or dried shrimp. Anything. I put whitefish in last time. I just cooked it in the frying pan. You could steam it. I used a bit of oil. And then I just sort of mashed it all up in with the potatoes along with the onions. Some salt and pepper if you want another seasoning. And they're really good. The fish ones were amazing. I ate them and like didn't even make the video because I ate them all. I was hungry when I made those too. So they turned out very well. The onion mixed in well. I coated as I formed the potato patties in my hands from the mashed potatoes. I just form them, make them as big or as flat or as thick as I want to. I experimented with that a little bit. I have some that are very thin. I have one that's very thick. They all turned out fine, really. It's just a matter of waiting for them to fry, waiting for them to be done. Adding oil if you need to, not doing it too high of a heat, and not being in too much of a rush because they will break. So once I formed them, I coated them in, what did I coat them in this time? This time I think I only put an egg wash over them. I don't think I used flour or cornstarch. So once I did that, I used just a small saucer plate with breadcrumbs on. I used the Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, and I put them on one side. I pressed them down to get the coating really good. I did around the edges, just kind of flipped it sideways and carefully did the edges. Put it on the other side and pressed it down again. And that is how I coated them. I put them gently into the frying pan and made sure I left them for long enough on each side before I flipped them over. And I gently flipped them over. I held them onto the spatula with another spoon and flipped. So these taste amazing. The texture is very it's even. I didn't leave clumps in the potatoes, even though I thought that might help. I didn't do that this time. I'm going to make them many times now that I've discovered potato croquettes. I love them. I did overcook them the first time I made them, and that did not help them stick together. I advise like leaving them slightly under. Not so that the potatoes are like raw and hard, because you need to mash them. But they're going to cook more in the frying pan when you're frying them. So you might as well leave them. I also think that you could, if you mince the onions enough, put them in raw, so that the oil from sauteing them, or you don't have to remove the oil, but so that the oil from sauteing them doesn't make them harder to stick together. They did flake apart easily last time, and as I'm pulling them apart with a fork, they're not difficult, but they flaked apart very easily last time, being that I put fish in them as well. The first time was a bit more of a struggle. I learned my mistakes and did it again. So if you screw up the first time like I did, don't be discouraged. Just do it again. It takes quite a bit of oil, and I don't normally eat much in the way of fried foods. I usually find a different way to do it. I usually bake or use the slow cooker, but just lately everything I've been looking up involves oil frying. Usually in a wok, but I've been looking up a lot of Japanese or Asian dishes, and it just happens to be what is involved, so I'll do this for a little bit and then switch back to my regular way of wanting to cook. I absolutely love slow cooker dishes, but it'll be a little while before I pull out the slow cooker. It's hot weather right now, and nobody wants to come home to a hot slow cooker. So good. This one was a really big patty. I'm going to move on to the pork chops so you can see. I bought a package of 4 center cut pork chops to do the tonkatsu fried pork chops. The recipe called for 2, so I only made 2. Very inexpensive though. And I needed the fat for another recipe, so I removed all of the fat. I know it sounds strange. I'm going to try out the recipe that was the other one with the pork fat. It's going to be interesting. This is just a little piece, since I had to cut the center cuts into pieces to get the pork fat off. They ended up, some of them in pieces. Some are larger, but these are in little pieces. And here's a strip. But the other 2, this is a smaller one. Actually turned out quite well. And there's another one that's just slightly bigger. So I'll cut this so you can see it. They were easy. They were very easy. I coated them. I took like the raw chop once I'd removed all the fat. And I had sorry, show you. And I coated it in cornstarch rather than flour this time. That was just what I chose. They're very tender. They're so good. I kind of beat them up a little bit with my fingers while I was coating them. So I coated them in cornstarch. Not really thick. Then I used an egg wash. I was very careful and gentle and didn't use too much egg. I have a habit of putting too much egg on, and then the flour or the breadcrumbs won't stick afterwards. And sometimes if I also put on too much cornstarch or flour, it's already clumping and falling off at that point because it just won't stick. So I pressed it on quite a bit. So with that not thick coating, but very thorough coating of breadcrumbs, it took a lot of oil. I just kept adding oil. I did it in a very thin skillet on low heat. That had a lid, and I did use the lid, probably part of what kept them more tender. So, yeah. Super good. I already used up all my sauce, but that's, I'll try and get some on here. Not much. So anyway, I have eaten only maybe two and a half of these compartments, but I wanted to let you guys know what I had made and that it turned out very amazing. I think I'll do the pork chops again as well. I was a bit excited. I found the fried pork chop recipe and the other one where I will use the fat. I found them separately, and I was just really happy that I didn't have to throw any of the food away. As much as I don't want to eat gobs of fat, I don't really like wasting food, so now that I can use them, it's a deep fried shrimp ball recipe, so which calls for ground pork fat. Instead of going and buying pork belly or buying it separately, or going to a butcher and trying to get some, I just saved what was on these ones. And they're amazing and tender. I hope you guys try it. If you want any recipes, or you have any comments, or you want to tell me what you've tried, what you've made, let me know. Like and subscribe if you want to see some more videos. Thank you.